So it turns out I'm alive, and I'm going to do that special video I've been talking about. So first move, disc. 3 versions: forward, neutral, back. I do not have quick cooldowns on, and you can charge it for 3 hits instead of 1 hit. There's no 2-hit version. Important to note that the cooldown starts going the moment you start charging, so you can do junk like this, which is mostly combo video fodder and stun punish, but sometimes can be useful. And that the easiest way to get this move off is an on-block or on-hit sweep, because it can special cancel. So you get all sorts of nasty shenanigans, even on block, from sweep because of disc. Now the other important thing to note is this is an anti-air. It is an incredibly good anti-air. There is no trading with this. Vlad doesn't get to fly against you. If he flies, throw a disc at him. They can sort of, kind of, maybe get over it, but only in really specific scenarios, and otherwise you just knock them out of the air for free. Combine this with the fact that you've got really long range normals, and it can get very, very frustrating very fast. So if you want, or if you have the life lead, zone them out. Do not just play their game. Now, versus Shell, you will probably not win the zoning war. I've never been great at it. You can do a charge disc and throw it forward or neutral, and it will eat the fireball and then have 2 hits remaining and land on them, theoretically. In practice, the moment her fireball gets destroyed, the cooldown resets, so she just fireballs you again and dodges the disc. Or at least that's how it's gone for me. So, not too much else to say about this move other than it can set up some really nasty stuff. You do something like this, and then you throw. And if they tech the throw, while they're in throw tech animation, the disc hits them and you get a combo. This can work with a single shot disc as well, but because I can't set a quick get up on the opponent, it's very, very hard to show, and I'm not feeling it. So yeah, I could go all day on just disc, so we're going to leave it at that for now and just say this is absolutely one of Crow's best moves. Use it and abuse it. It's the core of his game. So the second most important move to Crow, at least as far as special moves, is his jump B. No matter what B you have, you will have this move. It's called Slicer, and it moves different distances depending on how you jump. So that was me jumping back, that's me jumping neutral, and this is me jumping forward. So obviously I didn't reset to the same spot, but just trust me, they're slightly different distances. So if you want to get a punish, jump forward, versus if you want to get the hell out of dodge, you can do, whoops, well, if you do it right, jump back, and you barely move. This move is nuts. It allows you to alter your jump arc, which can screw with people, but more importantly, it allows you to basically combo from that, which is all part of his fuzzy guard setup. I have another video on that. And it's just really good for pressure because it's plus on block. So to show you, it's been a while. Where are you? There we are. Always block. Did I... Right. This is the problem. Sorry. It's been a while, and I forgot I'm 2 players, so you don't care. Short version, I can't put him on block, but just trust me when I say that on block leads to a tick throw. And it's really, really nasty because not on block, it leads to a combo. So, you can do junk like that into setups and, all sorts of shenaniganry. Obviously that's not real, but you get the idea. So, main use for this move is just throwing it out sometimes to make them block it. Getting out of Talos grabs and other grab setups when you're on block, you can do this, be off the ground, and get a full punish. When you're jumping at a Shell, which is one of the most terrifying things in the world, if you're outside of her DP range, so about here, she'll usually try to stand heavy you if they know what they're doing. This will beat the stand heavy. You may not get a combo, but it's not bad at all. In fact, from certain distances, you'll notice that it's kind of hard to combo out of, so be careful because you will get your face punched in. Not much else to say about it other than use it. It's just that good. There's so many little tricks and setups I could go over with it, but I really don't have the time. Just suffice it to say, watch the Fuzzy Guard video, learn how to do that, and then start using it in match. Instant Air Slicer is really very good, especially if your opponent's trying to turtle, because it's plus on block to the point you get either a mix-up or a throw. Or rather, a throw-low mix-up. So from there, I've currently got Core Puncture as my B special, which is the one I usually go into a match with. I'll switch to Dire Sting or Soul Cleaver depending on the match. But Puncture is quite good. It gets you off the ground, not immediately, so if somebody meaty sweeps you, you're going to eat it. And there's not a whole lot to say other than it's got huge range and it knocks down, and Crow loves knockdowns. Oh, and sorry, it's safe on block. It's negative, but it's safe. So if you're in Footsie's range and you're playing games and whatnot, feel free to throw it out, especially if you can max space it. Right about here, you're in a good spot because you can heavy them. You can kind of threaten low sweep if they whiff a normal, and you can also threaten this to basically punch them in the head. Any of those sets up your offense and gets you going, and it's a really wonderful neutral tool. In combos, you basically just use it, sorry, I have no idea what I'm doing there, off either close heavy or close medium, or most importantly, crouch medium. So that's kind of your bread and butters right there with a core puncture. Not a whole lot else to say about that. You know what, I'm going to go ahead and do his gamma next, just because I have it, and then I'll switch both at the same time. So I have his first gamma on, which is Fog of War. Note the 15-second cooldown. I always hoped that they would buff that. I don't know if Fog of War maybe deserves the 15-second cooldown, but in practice it certainly didn't seem like it. But whatever. What's done is done. So first of all, you're momentarily invincible. Do not use it as a reversal because you're still very punishable afterwards. There's maybe little block string scenarios and whatnot you can use it in, but I'm not going to cover that, and I never really learned them. But it does kill your forward momentum, so you can stop yourself from jumping into a DP. I, again, find that very gimmicky and very hard to use, and screw the cooldown on this thing. Main use is you'll usually do something like this. Well, if you do it, well, that actually comboed, I don't know why. Like that. And now you've kind of got them in a nasty situation. They can see the dust you kick up when you move. So let's see if I can show it off. See the little dust icons? Dust effects. They can see those. They will still notice the camera move when you jump. But honestly, one of the best things to do, especially if you're in the corner, is just do this and then block. And watch them freak out, because almost always they'll do something silly or block for a moment then throw them. Doesn't really matter what. It's a pretty good tool. The problem is it's got no defense, and Crow needs defense. So if you're going to run it, I definitely run it with Deflect. You don't get much with Kinetic Advance off of it. Maybe there's some new setups or something, I don't know. But yeah, short version, it's experimental. I would not recommend doing it if you're new to Crow, which is probably why you're watching this video other than to critique me. So yeah, that's about all there is to Fog of War. Right then, Soul Cleaver and Riposte. There we go. Soul Cleaver. Soul Cleaver has range, and it leads to damage. Now that was with short cooldowns on, but if I turn them off, and don't do it in the corner, because spacing matters, you'll note that the cooldown's short enough that combo is legit. It's pretty good damage from pretty far away. The problem is Soul Cleaver is abhorrently unsafe on block, so you need to run it with Kinetic Advance. I never got great with Soul Cleaver. I messed with it a long time ago, and I'm not very good anymore. I think that on block, KA Soul Cleaver leads to Kinetic Advance Soul Cleaver, can lead to some mix-ups or just keep it nice and safe by backdashing out. And in that case, it's not a bad footsies tool when you have meter and you're willing to spend it. So sort of like a, oh god, what's it called? V-triggering, like Bison Slide in Street Fighter V or something like that. If you're willing to spend the meter on it, it's not a bad move to just throw out. And then, if you hit them, great, fine, you'll go into shenanigans. And if not, you don't immediately get blown up. Beyond that, it's a good combo tool, but unfortunately, it's the only move he has that doesn't combo from his close medium or his crouch medium. Of note, his other moves don't, or his other core puncture doesn't combo from lights, but this one doesn't even combo from mediums, and that kind of hurts his offense, and again makes you very reliant on Kinetic Advance. So it's why I don't recommend using this move unless you really know what you're doing, or you want to practice some stuff, or you're trying maybe like a Kinetic Advance zoning Crow sort of thing. I do think it's matchup specific, and it can have uses, but if you're learning Crow, just stay away from it, because it's going to give you a headache. There is some really cool stuff you can do with it, and you still get Slicer, but probably not worth the effort. So going on to his other Gamma special, Riposte. This is how Crow doesn't die. You'll notice it's got a 10-second cooldown. So for those of you complaining about Crow, whoever's left, if you see him blow this, you now get to eat Crow. Like, Yeah, funny. You can nail him with supers. You can do whatever, especially if he doesn't have super. Crow has no threat against frame traps, block strings, anything like that if he's blown riposte. The downside is if he lands riposte, he gets one of three options. He can dash forward, dash backwards, or go straight up. And if he goes straight up, he can wait and come down with neutral jump medium, or he can instant air slicer. These two obviously lead to a boatload of damage, as I've kind of already demonstrated, but in case you've missed it for some reason, that's right into super. So he gets one of the strongest punishes in the game. But this can be blown up super, super easy. If you go forward, you get momentary invincibility that's maybe useful in weird scenarios, but usually if I dash forward, it was an accident and I'm swearing. If you go backward, it can get you out of some nasty situations if you're not in the corner, in which case they'll punish you and beat your head in. Multi-hit chain combos or special moves will blow it up right away, and just like Talos' armor, you'll take the full hit of the initial damage, and then you'll take the full hit of the next hit because it won't scale, and you'll take a ton of damage. So you really need to know when to use this. Just having the option, though, saves you a lot of trouble versus, say, a good edge who's probably going to try and frame trap you to death, whereas if he keeps doing it, you can always threaten riposte and get, you know, some really nasty combo punishes if he doesn't DP you out of the air. You have to really learn all the mix-ups and all the junk that can happen off of it, but I highly recommend running this. So beyond that, not much else to say. I think even stuff like Crouch Light will ruin Crow, because what happens is if you see a Crow on the ground, if you get a knockdown on Crow, you Crouch Light him on Wake Up. If he supers or ripostes, you'll beat it, because you're holding down back. You'll either see the super and be able to block, or you'll see the riposte, and either A, he'll instant air this and you'll block it because it's not an overhead, or B, you'll basically see him go into the air, and if you've got good reflexes, you can DP him. If he backdashes, you might be able to punish if you're fast on your fingers. There's a lot of moves that can punish a backdash. And if he dashes forward, well, congratulations, he screwed up and you get to punch his face in. So, last one, the other good B special, Dire Sting. Dire Sting is for aggressive Crow players because not only does it kind of sort of anti-air, and it looks kind of lousy here because, wow, it doesn't do as much damage and it doesn't lead to a whole lot. It combos off of lights, though, and that's huge because Crow has no other move that combos off a light. So not only that, but in the corner, God, the stages are long, it combos off of light into sweep. So you can do all sorts of nasty stuff with this. If you like mix-ups, if you like screwing people up, then Dire Sting is the move for... Excuse me again. Gosh. Dire Sting is the move for you. It can cause such headaches. I usually go in with Core Puncture because I like having a better option in neutral, and this isn't quite as safe. I can't remember if it's punishable on block, if it's like point blank or farther back or what the deal is. But if I'm especially against a Vlad or a Dauntless who's not spacing their specials right. So Vlad's Clobbering Rush and Dauntless's Piston Punch are a special thing. If they do them too close, you can punish with a light. Now, normally all you get is a stand light, and then you can go into a disc, which is good pressure and great setup because now they're in a really lousy situation, but that's it. If you've got Dire Sting, however, you get to punch him in the face and then launch him, and then go into a setup. So, yeah. Super. So that's about it for those, and I'm not going to cover the Kinetic Advance on all of them because the only Kinetic Advance Special Crow has is Soul Cleaver. Dire Sting cannot be Kinetic Advanced. Riposte and Fog of War can't be Kinetic Advanced. Maybe Fog of War. Probably not. I don't want to test. I'm tired. But yeah, since only Soul Cleaver and his super and his normals, I'm not going to show that off. So for super, however, it's a very, very good super. Most people forget that Crow has a Wake Up Invincible option, and it's that. And if you get it point blank, you can actually get quite a bit more damage if you don't suck, like I do. I'm off. So short version, you can go into this into a juggle combo. But it's your wake up option, it's your defensive option, and it's incredibly good in combos if you space it right. So right there, I did that kind of on purpose to show off that you need to cancel from his fireball, and if you're at the wrong range, you will whiff the super, and Dauntless will counter super you, and you will cry. So make sure it's nice and deep, and, you know, actually do it right. And you get a nice little combo into a setup. If you're in the corner, as I'm sure most of you know, Crow's max damage, or max... Ooh, I'm kind of sad today. Crow's reliable max damage that I know of. Anyways, it's this, into this, into this, into whatever you want. Looks something like that. So his super also is safe on block, and also is not the worst thing if you, for some reason, throw it out far away. It's much better if you kinetic advance it, because then you can use it as an approach tool, but it is kind of risky to just throw this out from over here, because there's so many things that punish fireballs in this game. But if the enemy's on chip or something, you can go ahead and use it. Mostly, though, 9 times out of 10, especially as you're learning, you're going to use it in combos. So, you know, junk like this. Oh my god. Yay, redemption. Okay. And, you know, that's really, really good damage, a nice chunk of stun, and a free setup from there. So that's about it from Crow. Oh, yes, and when they're blocking your super, even if you don't kinetic advance it, if they do decide to commit to block, you get kind of a free mix-up, low throw as before. It's really good. All of Crow's junk is just fun. That's about it for now. I'll try to do a more detailed breakdown of just matchup stuff, and I'm hoping I can play a bit more again, and hopefully I'll finally not have a cough when I'm recording. But that'll be it. See you around.